Horace Slughorn was best known as Potions Master at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and also served as head of Slytherin House. Horace was sorted into Slytherin during his time at school, and even at such a young age, he would try to surround himself around important people. Once he left school, he quickly rejoined as the Potions Master around the same period that Albus Dumbledore joined the school as Transfiguration teacher. Throughout his long tenure at the school, he taught a vast number of students and always had a preference for those who were well connected or those that he considered to be extremely gifted. This led Slughorn to create a small group of these students called the Slug Club. Nearly all of the students that were in the Slug Club went on to lead very successful careers, mainly because Slughorn was able to make certain introductions to important contacts, many of which were old Slug Club members themselves. Slughorn soon had a wealth of excellent contacts in the wizarding world, many of whom were inside the heart of the Ministry of Magic itself. They all had great respect for Slughorn, for it was he that essentially created their success, and he would receive a great deal of gifts and privileges from these former students. On the other hand, Slughorn often ignored many of the other students who were not in his special club. He seemed to have no interest in the ordinary and only wished to give his time and attention to wealthy, gifted, famous and well-connected people in the wizarding world. Horace never wished to gain power himself, but he preferred the feeling that he had great influence over these people. One of the gifted students that Horace taught was Tom Riddle. Horace immediately took a great liking to Riddle and invited him into his Slug Club. During one of their regular suppers, Tom Riddle stayed behind and questioned Horace about horcruxes. They discussed the topic in some detail, but Tom Riddle was most interested in finding out if it was possible to create more than one horcrux. Slughorn was somewhat alarmed by Riddle's interest in horcruxes and immediately seemed to regret discussing the topic. Once Riddle had transformed into Lord Voldermort, Slughorn finally realised that he may have done much damage by giving Riddle this information about horcruxes. He decided to try and erase this conversation from his memory in order to live with his guilt. He also always feared that Voldemort would seek him out to kill him so that no one would find out about his horcruxes. Therefore, when Voldemort fell, Slughorn was most delighted as he could finally put this guilt behind him, because to him this meant that Tom Riddle could not have made any horcruxes. As soon as Voldemort returned after his rebirth, however, he once again feared greatly that Voldemort would either recruit him to join the Death Eaters or that he would kill him. This led Horace to go into hiding for many months, where he would break into Muggle houses while they were away on holiday, before then quickly moving on to the next house. Dumbledore managed to track Horace down, however, and using Harry, he managed to convince him to rejoin Hogwarts School as Potions Master. Horace immediately tried to collect Harry by inviting him into his Slug Club on the Hogwarts Express journey to Hogwarts. Once Dumbledore had shown the memory that Horace had provided, Harry was tasked with coaxing the real memory out of him. This proved quite difficult at first, as Horace became very guarded once he realised that Dumbledore had shown Harry the modified memory. Eventually, after using felix felicis, Harry managed to extract the true memory, showing exactly what information Horace had given Riddle all those years ago. Slughorn remained at Hogwarts even after Dumbledore's death. He fought in the Battle of Hogwarts and even duelled against Lord Voldemort himself, perhaps showing that he had finally conquered both his fears and his lifelong guilt. Once the Second Wizarding War was over, Slughorn continued to teach at Hogwarts for many years before finally retiring for the second and final time. It's safe to say that deep down Horace was indeed a good person, but his liking for certain students and his ability to ignore others that he did not deem to be important enough of his attention led to some ill feeling among some of the students past and present. For example, we learn that Arthur Weasley was never really considered to be much of a high flyer, and like Ron, they were both ignored when Horace taught them at school. However, he was still a very capable teacher and an even better potions master. It was said that he was one of the best potion masters that was ever known. And while he had a very different approach to teaching than Professor Snape, he managed successfully to teach potions for many, many years and was well respected amongst many of the students. Overall, Slughorn certainly did his bit to help in the wizarding world, although he first expressed a lack of interest in joining the Order of the Phoenix. He eventually aided Dumbledore's quest to defeat Voldemort by providing the true memory after all those years, and as mentioned previously, he also fought against Voldemort himself. Slughorn is a very complex and indeed interesting character, who ended up playing an extremely vital role in the wizarding world and in Harry's quest to defeat Lord Voldemort.